Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about the question I often get. Victor, how do you market yourself? Ooh, that's a great question, right? People always want to know, Victor, how do you market yourself? I see you all over the internet. How do you market yourself? What is your strategy? What is your strategy? Well, I'm going to give you my 5-step sales strategy or marketing strategy to help you generate inbound leads. Are you ready for this? I don't usually share my secret sauce with just anybody, but I'm going to share it with you. Just between us. Don't share this with anybody else. This is just for you and me. Now, here's my plan. It's a real simple plan. And I think if you implement this plan, I know that if you implement this marketing plan, you will generate leads and traffic to your website. First traffic, which hopefully will convert into leads in your website. Now, the 5-step plan is very easy. If you want to understand what I do and how I do it, here it is in 5 easy steps. Ready? All right. Step number 1. You got to ask yourself that question. Who are you trying to get a hold of? Who are you trying to attract? Who do you want to notice you? Okay, you got to ask yourself that question. I guess every company should start that way. Who is it that we want to market to online? Who do we want to attract? Right? Who do we want to attract? And so what does that persona look like? Is it an executive? Is it a B2B executive? Maybe it's not an executive. Maybe it's just a manager. Maybe you're asking managers. That's who you're looking for. That's your target market. It's managers. Maybe it's a B2B market. Maybe it's a B2C. Well, again, figure out who it is you're trying to attract. And here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. Come up with 2 or 3 personas. 2 or 3 personas, or as I like to call them, zebras, because zebras have different stripes. Let's find those 2 or 3 zebras, 2 or 3 personas that you're trying to attract. And that's the first step, because again, you just can't market to everybody. You got to figure out, who am I trying to attract? Step number 2. If you have in your mind, let's take one of those personas, one of those zebras, and you start putting yourself in their position. Take their point of view. In other words, put yourself in their situation. What do you think are the biggest challenges that persona is facing? What do you think are the biggest challenges that persona is facing? What are some of their goals? What are some of their aspirations? Where are they trying to go? What are some of the problems they're dealing with? Let me put some meat on this thing so you'll get what I'm talking about. Let's say that I'm trying to attract VP of sales. That's the persona I like, VP of sales, right? Now, that's the persona I'm going after, so I put myself in that position. It's easy for me because I've been there, so I can do this. And I know that they have a myriad of issues they have to deal with. I know, for example, one is managing a team, keeping them motivated, helping them close more deals, maybe even prospecting, or just managing their time. These are all issues that I know that VP of sales, maybe even directors of sales, have with their sales team. So I then create step number 3, I rephrase their problem. So let's say that one of the problem is their people are not closing enough deals. Their conversion rate is really low. It's like 20%, when the average in their industry is 40%. So I know that that's a problem they have. So then I try to frame that in the form of a question when I produce some type of content. And I ask myself the question they would ask themselves. And that is, how can my salespeople close more effectively? You see how I just turned that into a question? How can my salespeople close more effectively? How do I increase my salespeople's close rate? How can salespeople increase their close rates, right? How can salespeople increase their conversion rate? How can salespeople gain more clients? All these are just variations of getting salespeople to close more deals. So when I write those questions down, that immediately triggers me to go into step number 4. Which is to take that question and now turn it into content. Listen carefully. I take those questions, those problems that they're having, those challenges, and I convert that into a question, and that question eventually becomes a piece of content. The piece of content could be an article. I can write an article saying how to help your sales team close more deals. How to help your sales team close more deals, right? That answers their question. I can then take that same article and maybe I can create a podcast just like this. I can create a podcast and put that out in the social media space, right? Maybe I can create a video and put it on YouTube. Maybe I can write a white paper based on some studies I've either done or, again, I compile some content and says, here's what I found in the market to help people close more deals. So, again, I just take all that information, the questions they have based on the problems they have, and then I create content around it. And then last but not least, you got to share that content all over social media and on your website. So if you're listening to this and you're a small business, here's the question. Again, here's the process you need to go through. One, who are you trying to attract? Who are you trying to sell to? It's almost like fishing. What bait do I need to throw in the water in order to attract the fish I want? So who are you trying to attract? You got to start there. Come up with at least 3 personas. Next, ask yourself, what problems are they trying to solve? For example, again, if it's a VP of sales, maybe it's closing, maybe it's prospecting, maybe it's better presentation skills, maybe it's utilizing their time more effectively. What challenges are they facing that you can solve? Put that in the form of a question, right? How can I help them close more deals? How can I help them be better presenters? How can I help them manage their time? And then take those questions and create content, because that's what they're searching for online. Listen carefully to what I just said. That's what they're searching for online. How do I ... What if you create content that answers that ... In other words, create content, article, podcasts, videos, white papers, whatever it may be, to attract those people. And when they watch your content that you've distributed on social media or on your website, maybe, just maybe, they'll pick up the phone and give you a call. So if you want to attract new customers, new business, that is the 5-step plan. 1, who are you trying to attract? 2, how do you solve their biggest problem? 3, frame that in the form of a question. 4, turn those questions into content. And number 5, distribute that online and watch your traffic grow. And hopefully you'll generate more leads and close more deals. And that is it for this Sales Influence podcast. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Let me know what you think. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, check out my online sales training platform, the Sales Mastery Academy. We got almost 40 courses now, almost 400 videos, 13 books. Look, I've changed the pricing so anybody can afford to get on the platform right now. So check it out at salesmasteryacademy.us. That's salesmasteryacademy.us. And lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.